lot of his sweat equity and the client list that he had built up. He had gained all the clients that we sort of bought. Because you think about it, when you buy a graphic design studio, what are you really buying? You're buying the name, which we immediately changed 6 months later. So we're pretty stupid. But we also, we bought all the expenses. It's an S corporation, so actually it was a stock purchase. So we assumed all of their debts. We took on all the employees. But we also had all that client work. And those clients didn't know the owners at Creative Perceptions. They knew my business partner, Bill, and they knew the designers that were there. So we were pretty secure that we had that established business and that established revenue coming in. And like I said, that's kind of helped us where we had the payroll that first week. Well, we went to a client that was a longtime client and said, hey, this bill's due next week, you maybe pay us this week. And they did. We were able to cover payroll and kind of rolled from there. So what we got out of that was an established cash flow that kind of helped us move forward. And the previous owners, to their credits, we negotiated a pretty good price, and they also let us pay them back interest-free for 4 years. Every quarter, we would pay back with a percentage of the profits of the company. So we didn't really have to take, we took a little bit out of our pockets up front, but everybody takes a little bit out of their pockets up front to start a business. But because of the time and the energy and the equity that Bill had built into the company, the previous owners were pretty good when we came and sat down at the negotiating table and figured out a price. But at the same time, you know, I said to Bill, it's like, why don't we just walk away? All the clients are going to follow you, but we both just had get a non-compete agreement, and we both just had too many morals and ethics to kind of do that. And so at the end, we did it what we thought was the right way, and it turned out pretty well. So.
I was wondering if, like, I'm an intern and we have a graphic design studio and we have a website. Do you have any tips on how to kind of differentiate yourself? Because there's a lot of graphic design websites out there. You know, you just Google graphic design in Michigan.
Right. I would say just try to do something unusual, something creative, something that's going to catch people's eye, but also keep it easy to navigate, easy to use, and simple. I think the problem a lot of people have with websites is they make them so complicated that no one can figure out how to use them. And that's a real problem. So I would say just do something to differentiate yourself, but keep it simple. If you're a small company, you know, it doesn't have to be this huge, lavish website. A lot of people now are just using, use WordPress. We've actually built our website is based on WordPress. We just kind of hacked the back end so we can make it work that way. It's a simple, free platform to update content. And then, get into social media side of things, which we're really bad about doing, but we're going to hopefully do that better. We're in the process of redoing our logo, redoing our website, and all that stuff. It's always the worst with design studios. The websites never get updated because you're busy doing work for everybody else, but my sales guy will knock it off me, so we've got to redo this stuff. And we're going to start doing the Twitter and the Facebook and the stuff we do for our clients. We're going to do that for ourselves. And we were better about that when we started up. There wasn't Twitter and all that stuff. This is kind of going on a tangent, but we were good about the PR. We used to go to the Great Lakes IT report that Matt Roush did. We would get our names in there every time we launched a new website. We had contacts at the Detroit News that would put us in there when we launched the new websites. And so we kind of got the word out that way. At least people in town started to know our name and started to get to know us. And so when we were at a meeting or we're introduced, they say, oh yeah, we've heard about you, you launched this website. And so that kind of little bit of PR really helped and was effective. So that's completely nothing to do with what you asked me, but I hope I did answer your question.
Yeah, thank you.
I wanted to know, what criteria or method of selection do you use when you're looking at individuals or organizations or companies to network with?
To network with? We look for people who share our values and share kind of our work ethic. We like working with people who promote the city, promote the area. We like people who are good corporate citizens. There was one meeting I walked into, and I'm not going to name names, you probably wouldn't know who it was anyway, but I walked out of that meeting and I told my sales guy, I was like, John, I feel like I need a shower. We're not doing work for these people. So they have to be good corporate citizens. They have to share kind of the work ethic we have. They have to seem fun to work with, and we have to kind of believe in the product, because at the end of the day, what we're doing is selling their product for them. So if we don't believe in their products, it's kind of difficult to do that job. So those are kind of some of the things we do when we're evaluating a potential new client.
Hi Tom, my name is Deborah, and I'm an art teacher and graphic designer. And I just wanted to know, how did you know that you wanted to go into business with your partner, because sometimes you're skeptical on going into business with another person, as opposed to being an independent entrepreneur?
It was a tough decision, but I had known, Bill and I met at the publications company. I was fresh out of school. He was, he's a couple years older. Somehow we just sort of bonded. We stayed in touch while we were in Chicago. We came back, this situation presented itself to me, and it's a tough decision because you share a lot with this person. They're like a spouse. I always call Bill my business partner, but he's also my partner, and I introduce him that way sometimes, and I don't care if people think. Because you share so much with this person. I sit 3 feet away. I've sat 3 feet away from this guy for 13 years of my life now. I think I know him better than his wife. And it's just, and I don't know how you know. You just kind of do. It's someone you believe in, someone you can trust, someone who shares, again, those same values you do in business. We both, if we have a fault at Acting Design, both Bill and I do, is we tend to give too much to our clients and work too hard because a lot of people would be satisfied with it, but we're both perfectionists to a fault. And so we will not let anything go to the client unless it's perfect. And he kind of shares that same belief as I do, and so we just work good together. And the benefit of having a partner is you do get to take vacations, and you do get to take time off, even when the business was young. We could slip away, because I knew he had my back, and I've got his back when he's gone. And, you've got someone there you can trust, and that's I can't underestimate that enough. That's like a really a strong thing to have with a business partner.
Okay, we have one more question, and then we're going to do our drawing. Okay. My question to you is regarding expansion. I know you said you want to be smart and keep it small, but at what point do you ever see yourselves expanding outside of here or pursuing clients outside of here, other metropolitan areas or wherever?
Well, we do have some clients outside of the metro area. We've got some work we've done in Chicago and California. But I tell you what, there's a lot of business here in Detroit. And when the business here in Detroit runs out, there's not enough business for us to do. Maybe then we'll think about expanding outside of Detroit. But there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of work here in Detroit if you look for it. With that said, I'm not adverse to growing the business. I wouldn't mind, expanding in Chicago. We've talked about this, Bill and I have, into some of the other metropolitan areas around here. But it's just there's so much work here in Detroit that it's kept us here and kept us focused on this core business. If anything, what we'd like to do is grow our business here internally in Detroit so that we're a bigger studio and we can take on bigger jobs that maybe we can't take on right now. So I don't know if that answers your question that well, but okay. I think it's different for every business too. Some people, they don't want to just stay here. They want to do business around the country. They want to expand. They want to set up offices all over. And I think that's a different mentality and a different way of doing business than we have. We're focused on let's see what's here in Detroit. What's in Oakland County? What's in Macomb County? We haven't even really touched the west side of the state. There's a ton of work, furniture design, all the places out in Grand Rapids that do really good stuff. There's competition there too. There's some good design studios, but there's like a lot of, just within Michigan and within this general area, there's a lot of work, there's a lot of companies. And I just want to, something they touched on earlier, I've had a couple experiences lately that I just want to share really quickly, both in Montreal, Toronto, and then I was out in Portland, Oregon. I met 3 young people, and all 3 of them were really excited about Detroit. All 3 of them were artists, and all 3 of them want to come here, just because they've been hearing the buzz that's happening in Detroit. So this is actually really happening. People are excited, there's young people, they were like, there was a barista, a bartender, and the other person was like slinging sandwiches, and they were all like sculptors, artists, people who had visions, and they were really excited because they'd heard so much about Detroit and how it was the cool new place to be, and how it was cheap, and how there were a lot of young artistic people kind of gathering in the area. So I see it happening already, and I think we're in an exciting time. We're on the ground floor. It's like the next 10 to 15 years. People have been saying that a long time, but I think this is really the time when Detroit's going to shine. So I'm excited to be here. So thank you all. I appreciate your time. Thanks.